Are you thinking about writing a book? Well, I have exactly the group for you. You need Shine Press in your life. They have a free 30-minute consultation that answers your questions and shows you what it would look like to become a Shine Press author. They're illuminating stories and empowering authors. Go to shine-press.com to learn more.
Welcome to Productive Joy with Dr. Christie, where fun meets action.
Hi, friends. Welcome to Productive Joy. It is a great day to have a great day. And we have our new friend Lauren with us today, who's going to teach us all kinds of things. But before she does, I need you to follow this podcast. I know I say it every time, but it is so important because if you don't follow, you don't know that Lauren's with us. You don't know that really great things are happening. And that would make me sad because Lauren has a lot of wisdom to impart on us. So today on Productive Joy, we have Lauren Kwedar Cockerell, who is a strategic PR partner. She's also a human parent to 2 elementary-aged kiddos. She's married to Clint. She is a podcaster. I love the title, Impatient Entrepreneur. I think many of us can relate to that. She's a voracious reader who read 150 actual books and then a whole bunch more to her kiddos last year. And she is a self-proclaimed amateur birder. And she is here as a guest today. So Lauren, welcome to Productive Joy.
Thank you, Christy. I'm already joyful. I was trying to withhold my chuckles through that intro. So thank you very much for having me. I can't wait.
It's fun, right? It's fun to get to know somebody on a different level. And I love it because I ask the question and then I get to know you a little bit more. And so do the listeners, which is what today is all about. So Lauren, can you please convince these listeners that the next 30 minutes is going to be life-changing for them somehow or another in 30 seconds or less?
Okay. Well, this will be sort of meta, but one thing that I've been sharing with individuals and mentoring conversations, and then, on social and other conversations, broader conversations, is I really want people to be thinking about what is really authentic to you and what will work for you. We're recording in January. It is the season for gurus to tell you all sorts of ways, the right way to do something, whether it's your personal life or your business life or both. And I would really love to encourage you to take what resonates and leave the rest. As a recovering perfectionist, I get very bound up in doing things the quote unquote right way. And I've learned in the past few years, particularly in the last 7+ of owning my own business, that doing it my way has been the most fruitful, and what resonates with me, my values, my clients, my team, that has made all the difference. And so I hope if you take nothing else and you stop listening now, I hope you don't, but if that's all you take that.
Oh my gosh, I think that is sound advice. And I think we forget that sometimes, right? Because everything we hear isn't necessarily for us. And there is something in it for us. So the more thoughtful we can be about what's my takeaway, what's my thing that I need in this space, the better off we'll be. And I am so excited to learn a little more about you. So tell us a little bit more about Lauren, and you can start anywhere. You can start with baby Lauren or teenage Lauren or current Lauren. But what got you to this point where 7 years in, you've had this business and you're thriving?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I know today's Lauren better than I've known any other version of Lauren. And honestly, I think a lot of that has been through the entrepreneurship journey. I have some fellow folks in this world who are figuring out as they go as well. And we have discussed about how becoming business owners has really revealed to us who we truly are as people and who we were meant to be, just like fully self-actualized people through creating a service or offering that resonates with our clients, through developing teams and developing those individuals as people, and creating a business that is sustainable. It has been a roller coaster. It has not been without its twists and turns, but it's been a wonderful and fulfilling ride. And so that's certainly where I would start. We're all multidimensional people, as you mentioned. I've got some other things cooking, but it's, as you look in hindsight, it was storytelling and entrepreneurship all along. When I was in middle school, I went to my local children's hospital and took a certification class in babysitting. Like I was gonna do this right. I was gonna be the world's best babysitter. I made little pamphlets for all my babysitting offers. I bought a bottle of Ipecac syrup to put in my backpack in case of any poisoning incidents.
Well done. That's
Oh, yes.
prepared.
Yes, and I rode her on my bike just I was gonna be this great babysitter. It turned out I was not a good babysitter, but I was meant to parent my own children, and that was it.
I
But,
understand.
but the desire to create a service for people was there, 30 years ago, and so it's fun to do this today. But I love to look in the background, and I like to ask other entrepreneurs, were you an entrepreneur as a kid? Who were you as a kid? I was a deep empath. I've always been a deep empath. My mom tells a story about walking past the living room when I was a toddler, probably 2 or 3, watching cartoons, just sobbing. And she gets out the baby Spock book, like Dr. Spock, like, is my child broken? It's like, yes, they're an empath, which has been extremely painful at points in my life, but it also
Yeah.
makes me darn good at what I do.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yes. Well, and how cool that you do have little memories, right? Of who we are, because we are who we are. And we
Mhm,
do
mhm,
show up in the way that's most comfortable to us most of the time. When we're not
mhm,
in that space, that's when we're actually pretty miserable. And so how
mhm.
great that you knew that going in, maybe not with other people's children. I get it. I fully support and understand it. I actually spent some time in my daughter's kindergarten classroom. She's a teacher recently,
Mhm.
and that's not what I was built to do. I was not built to watch the snot just like pour out of the noses and go, oh my God, can I get you a clink here, here? Meanwhile, Chloe, my daughter, did a full lesson this morning on, all
Mhm.
right, I hear a lot of coughs and sniffles. Show me how you cough so that you don't get it everywhere. And all the kids are going like,
Yeah.
okay. It, some of us
Yeah.
are wired that way. And
Mhm.
I am
And
so
thank
proud
God.
of that. Right, exactly. But it's not, yeah, I do the big kids really well, but the littles, that's
Mhm.
hard for me. And I'm just grateful that, you found your gifts, that she's found her gifts, and that you're sharing them with others. So, Lauren, what is it that you do for other people? How do you use that empath in you to change lives?
Mhm.
Guess what? I wrote a course, and it's called Women Who Lead, and you can find it at www.aimwithus.com. And all you have to do is click on courses, and you and I can spend some really quality time together learning how to make every interaction safe, logical, fun, and memorable. And guess what, guys? It would work for you too. I hope to see you there.
Yep. So, business talk. We're a PR firm, and so, but we come alongside people as their strategic partner. Everything is based in strategy. So we're always beginning with, what do you really want to have happen here? What is your short and long term vision? And we're building content and strategy and targets based upon that. And then we're going to market with whatever the story is. And people often come for the PR and then stay long term for content marketing, like social, email, websites, all that good stuff, which being a PR firm gives us a really unique lens into the compelling content creation for those services. So that's the boring talk track. But being an empath and working with fellow empaths, actually, or and curious people, one of our core values is delightfully curious, just really wanting to know people and really and become dream makers. Like, tell us your fears, your dreams, your visions, and allow us to come alongside you as your thought partner to make that happen. And to be able to put ourselves in our client's shoes and their client's shoes makes for very wonderful storytelling.
I
and,
bet.
and
Well,
really
okay.
helps
So
them. Yeah, yeah.
two questions with that. One is, and I just recently learned this myself, so that's why I'm asking for my listeners' sake. The difference between PR and marketing, because we're living
Hmm.
in a space where, regardless of whether you have your own business, you have to brand yourself. You are putting a brand out there,
Hmm.
whether you realize it or not. So, are you putting the brand out there that you want to put out there, or are you posting ridiculous things on Instagram that everybody's associating with you, right? um,
Hmm.
but
Yes. Hmm.
tell us the difference between those two, because I'm not sure everybody fully understands.
Sure. So, how I've always thought about it for my 20 plus years of doing it is marketing is a function of sales. So, we're talking about selling widgets, we're talking about putting butts in seats, we're talking about, really driving sales. And so all those activities are linked to that. If you're talking about a product launch, you're talking about, okay, what's the landing page and the email funnel and how's all that tied together and what are your social ads going to say and all that. So, marketing, all of meeting those sales objectives. On the PR side, it's really a function of leadership and management and the founder or leader or leadership team casting a vision of wanting for their organization. So a lot of times PR can be not necessarily, PR and marketing need to work very well together and closely together. If they don't, that's a whole other thing, and I can get to that. But we, we're doing executive announcements. We're doing, thought leadership. We're, it might not be a one-to-one correlation. We can't necessarily tie, okay, this publication ran this story, and so this is the uptick in sales that we've driven here. It's the rising tide that's lifting the boats, and so it is that brand. It is a function of your brand and your position, and so that's how I like to think about them too. Yes, we want, if you're doing a launch, we want your PR announcements and everything on the earned side to be connecting to the paid and owned channels, and we want everyone to work together, but they do have a time and a place. So marketing is often PR, but PR is not always marketing, and vice versa.
That's fair. You know what? And I appreciate that. That's creates an equation that makes sense to me. So my second question with that is, you said that one of your core values is to be delightfully curious.
Yes.
And that means that you have to hire well for people that are by nature delightfully curious. Yeah, that's the word. I did write it down. So how do you find people that fit that mold? How do you find people who by nature just want to understand and know more?
With a smaller team, so we're 9 as of the time of recording, including me, and we have mostly grown through personal network. I have found somebody, 1 or 2 people who've just like through casting a net, and when they came through, they are screened for our core values, where we, in your own words, describe how these resonate with you and how they show up in your own life. We also, it doesn't happen very often, but we discipline upon them as well. Something is not necessarily like, oh, you're a bad person, you did a bad thing. Something is a values violation. Like another one is strategy first, or do what we said is another one, where I've had to have a conversation with a team member for, like, you said I was going to have this at this date and this time. It has been 3 days now.
Yeah, I was patient, but I'm not patient anymore.
This is becoming a pattern, and one of our values is do what we said. So we need to address this today. So right now it's, birds of a feather do tend to flock together. So but in the next phase, I imagine it will be a casting of the net. And anytime we've gone to the boards or requested referrals for team members, those values are front and center, and you do not pass go if you do not answer that question to our satisfaction.
Which is just smart. I think if we lead with our vision, just like you're saying, that's what PR is, right? Is creating a clear vision and then acting upon it. Well, as a PR firm, I'm really grateful that you lead that way, that you recognize the value. Kind of good to practice what you preach, because the people that are listening are leaders in one capacity or another who want to be strategic about creating productive joy, about creating a space where people want to come to work, where they feel valued and appreciated. And so that leads me to my most favorite question. And that's, if you had to describe productive joy, how would you describe productive joy to me?
I love this question. I had a moment. Well, I mean, I have moments all the time, but as my role in the company changes, those moments of flow where you almost have like this out of body experience while you're doing something. We're like, holy cow, I'm so lucky that I get to do this right now. I'm being paid to do this. I'm having so much fun. I am doing what God put me on this planet to do right now. I am bringing my best self to this conversation. Everyone is all synapses are firing. Everyone, we're getting so much out of this. We one of our long-term wonderful clients, they're all wonderful, but someone who's been with us for a long time now. We had a conversation the other day. We're kind of turning up the heat a little bit, going into the next level of what we're doing for them, and had an in-depth conversation about how they wanted to show up as a thought leader, as a subject matter expert, as the business has gone to new heights, what's next for them as a leader in their industry, nationwide, and really pulling back the onion on that for them, and talking through, how they wanted to show up and where they wanted to show up, and what they wanted others to learn from them and be inspired by. I mean, oh my gosh, I would have done that for free in a heartbeat, but I was really glad to get paid for it too.
Yes, that's productive joy, right? Like there's the productiveness of someone is paying me to do this thing. That's pretty great. Well, and I love where you went with that, because I think I do believe in my core that we all need a little more productive joy. We all need to find ways to get fun and action to meet so that we're not feeling like work and happiness are mutually exclusive.
Hmm.
As we spend 90,000 hours of our lives at work, if we
Hmm.
hate it, what are we doing? Right? Like that is literally too much time to
Hmm.
hate everything about it. And yet, it's a choice. It's an
Hmm.
absolute choice, and you've chosen really wisely. I'm curious too. You said 7 years you've been on
Hmm.
your own, which means
Hmm.
that this happened pre-pandemic, but made its way
Hmm.
through said pandemic.
Hmm.
How did you navigate those tumultuous waters?
Right. Well, and we haven't covered that I actually started the company when I was 8 months pregnant with our second kid.
Oh,
And
game on. Okay,
I was
let's
laid
do
off
that.
from a company at the time, and it was kind of like, uh-oh, well, I can't go interview. I've always wanted to do this, but so today's the day. Okay, here we go.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you were forced out of the nest,
I
and
was
here you
forced
were.
out. Yes, I was crowbarred out of a situation that I needed to depart. It was very traumatic and painful. However, they ultimately did me a kindness, jettison me onto the path I needed to be on.
Yeah.
So thank you. So there was that. So it had some interesting beginning, but we was, kind of took like a wildfire. So that was good. Yes, the pandemic dawned when I had a 5-year-old and 2-year-old, I believe, if I'm doing math correctly. So running
Wow.
a small business, yes. I didn't have the team I have today, but I did have some folks on my team, a couple of young parents as well. And so we're doing pre-K on Zoom with, a toddler. And then my husband is a banker. And so he was processing PPP loans like literally 24 hours a day there for a minute. So yes, it was like I had, two phones up and, parenting with a toe. It was interesting.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a blur. I would have loved to learn how to bake during that time. That was not my pandemic experience, but we were very blessed. And we've always had wonderful clients. People have asked me before, like, how do you have such great clients? I'm like, well, I don't let the bad ones come in.
Yeah, I was gonna say I pick them. They come to me, but I say
This
yes.
this is a two-way street, actually.
Yeah.
So, there was some grace given some on both sides, grace requested on both sides. And, we just didn't get a lot of rest. But yeah, it was very much, okay, we're gonna figure this out together. And the ones who took our advice during that time got out just fine and dandy and were able to, move on to the next thing. I mean, it was a learning experience. That period was ripe with learning and unlearning, and just boy, it's a bit of a blur to be perfectly frank. I'm glad we're not doing it
I
anymore.
don't have any desire to go back there. I've learned some lessons from it that I plan to hold on to, but no, thank you. We don't need to
Yeah,
press repeat.
it's it's one of those things where I do hearken to it from time to time to remind myself that I can do hard things. Things will arise like, oh my gosh, this is tough.
Yeah.
Can I do this? And I have to say, yes, you can do this because you've done hard things before and you
Yeah.
can't do it again.
Yeah.
You're going to be okay.
Wow. Okay. So, first of all, you're fascinating, Lauren, and you are inspirational for a lot of reasons, right? So, many of our listeners happen to be women, and
Mhm,
lots of them have families that are trying to
mhm,
juggle all the things. And you clearly have managed that through, having littles in a
mhm.
pandemic. Teaching them, trying to, like you said, parent with a toe. I hear you. My kids were grown and out of the house, and I still felt
Oh
like I
my
was
gosh.
parenting with a toe during
Mhm,
that
mhm.
time. It was a lot. But you actually have something within your organization that I think is pretty fascinating and something we all could learn from, and that's people first management. Why don't you tell me a little bit about, or tell us a little bit about people first management?
Well, yes, it's so interesting because again, when I was shoved out of the nest in 2017, I was just adamant I was going to do it by myself. I want to hire anybody. I wasn't going to make decisions based on payroll. I was going to figure it out, and it was just going to be me. And then that quickly changed. And it's 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 interesting too because at the time I was really kind of tapped out in a lot of I think I was dealing with some depression, both
Sure.
acute from the situation and then and so on and so forth. But after I dealt with that and came out on the other side, this maternal energy just started pouring out of me, which again, not a great babysitter, but I probably pretty good at mentoring other people.
Adults. I'll
Um,
take adult
yeah,
children
yeah,
any day
yeah,
of the week.
yeah. But I don't want to babysit them either.
Yeah, no, true.
But boy, do I love working with them. And we had this really amazing full team retreat in November, in 2023, it was 3 of us, and there were nine of us, only I could come, but 9 of us in November 2024, which was very humbling in itself. But I sat everybody down. I was like, tell me what you want your life to look like in 5 years. I am not naive enough to think you're all going to be here in 5 years, because if you don't want to be here, I don't want you here either. I want
Right.
you to go live your purpose. Almost all of them said they described a role for themselves that they wanted in 5 years. I was like, well, that is great that you want that here. I love that. I co-sign. Let's do this. And then someone else was like, I want to be living in Italy in 5 years, writing my second book. And, maybe I can do some remote work for you. And I was like, that also sounds amazing. Can I continue?
Let's do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's almost like leading with consent and trusting people. I've hired you because, well, dialing it back even further, I don't want someone to be like me. I want you to be you.
Yeah.
I don't need another me. Well, some days I feel like I need another me.
I know.
But
I
most
need
of
to
the
solve
time,
myself. Yes, that's not what we're talking about here.
that's what it's to do with, making dinner. What I want is you to bring in your own unique experiences and your opinions and your life and your knowledge and your education. And I want you to make this place better than when you found it. And so lead with a retractable leash. I joke, like, the longer you're here, the longer it gets. Now, sometimes I might have to like hit the button and pull you back a little bit, but for the
Yeah.
most part, like, I definitely want to share the vision for where I want us to go. And then you help us figure out how to get there. And that has been, they come and ask me questions. I'm trying to encourage them to, it's partly my fault. Like I will do their thinking for them sometimes. I'm trying to get out of that. Like, you tell me what you think needs to happen. If I disagree with you, it's not because you're a bad person. I just disagree with you. Like, so healthy conflict. And so there's all that. So I'm probably like super off topic at this point.
No, you're actually doing great. You're doing great. Well, and I want to kind of hone in on that retractable leash concept, because when a dog is completely off leash, anything can happen. But when you have, and we're not comparing your employees to dogs. That's not what I mean.
Yes, right, yeah.
Let's
No.
take this back a notch, right? So if we
Yeah.
were talking about animals, they need to know where their boundaries are, right?
Mhm.
Well, humans are the same way. If you think about children, back to the babysitting analogy, children need discipline. Children need to know, okay, don't touch that. This is hot. You can go this far, but then you need to come back. And I think employees are 100% the same way. As human beings, we need to feel safe in our work environment. And one of the ways we can feel safe is by knowing where our boundaries lie. Sometimes people are going to push them, but that actually is when some of the brilliance happens, is when those boundaries get pushed and people ask, hey, I have this really great idea. I think it's going to cost this much money. It's probably going to need this many man hours, but here's what I think it could do. And then having a leader who says, you know what? Give it a shot, right? Like, let's go. Just knowing that I still hold a little bit of veto power if I see this going left.
Exactly.
Left would be down.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been having all sorts of conversations with the team this year. I'm like, listen, you're ready for the next level. I want you to bring it to me. And I'm here you just tell me what you need from me, and I will do my best to shut up and get out of the way.
Yeah.
But this is a safe place to try new things, like, as long as you're not spilling secrets you're not supposed to spill because of confidentiality, and you're not just running up a tab that, that we haven't discussed, like, you kind of have a lot of leeway. So if I wanted to do it myself, I'd do it myself.
Yeah. Well, and you learned early on when you thought you could that it's really not feasible, right? Like, you can do it yourself for a little while, but not if you want to scale, not if you want to grow, not if you want to be able to reach your full potential, because your full potential isn't in a box.
Right. Yeah. I remember I was super precious about content at first, like, only I can write for my clients. And then
You got over that.
Yeah, I got over that because this incredible copywriter came as a contractor at first to join the team, and she sent in something, and I went, well, I think I need to find something else to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you didn't know that was freeing you up to
Right.
do so many other things. I think
Mhm.
that's maybe the takeaway for me right this minute is in listening to you, I'm recognizing a few things. One, great leaders know their place in the system
Mhm.
and they don't try to put their tentacles out too far, right? They're not
Mhm.
trying to stop creativity. They're trying to create a space where creativity is
Mhm.
encouraged with boundaries because,
Mhm.
the number one reason why a project fails is that there was not the right scope of work, right? Like you get
Mhm.
scope
Mhm.
creep and
Yep.
then you got all kinds of
Yep.
problems, right? So it's also knowing your role in that. And I think as I think about our productive joy audience, these are people who really are thinking, okay, I want people to want to come to work. I want people to
Mhm.
be in this space. And so my definition of fun, I'm getting ready to ask yours, so be thinking, but my
Okay.
definition of fun is that people feel valued and appreciated, that people have a voice and they're allowed to use it, and that people are able to leverage their talents for the greater good. Because I'm 100% extrovert. So I would think it was fun to go to happy hour and to spend time with my
Mhm.
people. But one of my dearest friends on the planet is a true introvert. And she looks at me
Mhm.
and she's like, Christy, under no circumstance am I going to that happy hour with you.
Right.
Like, I
Mhm.
need to
Mhm.
sit and read a book. So fun truly has its own unique definitions, but
Mhm.
fun at work to me has to include those things. People
Mhm.
have to know that, you know what, I value you, your opinions and who you are, that you not only have a voice, but please use it, right? Please,
Mhm.
please tell me when things aren't what they need to be. And then, leveraging their talents, which sounds like you've done all three. So kudos to you. And
Thank
that's
you.
why you jumped from 3 to 9 to 18 next year to, exponential growth. So I'm super impressed with you, Lauren, and I know that you're doing some really great things for people. So I'm curious how people would find you. What is the best way for someone who is, in this space and going, I need a PR firm. I need somebody to market me. I love the way she's talking. Let's do that. How would they get in touch with you?
Yep, we're everywhere at Kwedarco, so that's Kwedarco, and that's .com on all the socials. That's how you find us. If you look up Lauren Kwedar or Lauren Kwedar Cockerell, you will find me. Actually, if I can say, my brother was just nominated for 3 Academy Awards, so you might see his name too, Greg Kwedar. So
Yeah,
I
what for?
yes,
What was his thing?
his movie is called Sing Sing. So the lead actor got a nomination. They got a nomination for Best Adapted Screenplay as well as, I believe, Best Original Song. So it's a beautiful film. So if you type in Kwedar, you'll probably find him too.
Oh my gosh. Well, hey, that's not hurting anybody's PR, is it?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not his publicist. He has like 2 or 3. So I'm not one of them, but
But you love him and he's your
I
brother, so
do.
you're gonna
I
you're gonna
do. I
promote
do.
him wherever you can.
Yes, I'm hoping I can carry a wallet or a cup of coffee on the red carpet this March. But anyway,
So exciting.
sorry, side quest there. I'm a very proud sister. But yeah, Kwedarco everywhere is how you find me, and I'd be hello at kwedarco.com. I'd be glad to chat with you.
And you're based in Texas, but you work
I
nationally, right?
am. I do. Yes. Yeah, we have
Right.
clients on all the coasts actually.
How fun is that? Well, from Florida, I say welcome. And for our listeners, if this sounds like something that you need, let's go because she's pretty fantastic. So, Lauren, I have thoroughly enjoyed our time together, but it went fast. And so now I have to ask you, well, I don't have to. I would like to ask you some rapid fire questions. Are you okay with
Let's do
that?
it. Yeah, this
Okay.
has been great. Yeah, lay it
Well,
on
I
me.
just told you, I know, right? I just told you my definition of fun, but I would like to hear your definition of fun. Can you tell me what's fun to you?
I'm sorry, in general, or this is not
In
gonna be
general?
rapid
And
fire.
no, it doesn't have to
Okay.
be. That's my like work answer. Fun to me is being out on the boat with my husband and my family and,
Yeah.
and just enjoying the wind in my hair. But that's so
Well, I same Z's. Yes, I do also. I love the water and being with my friends and family and just being in a great conversation, whether that's work or family or friends. But at work, I do want to say when people are bringing their own ideas and projects to the table and carrying them from ideation to completion, that has been the thrill of a lifetime as a leader.
mm. I love the way you said that too. Ideation to completion, because it's one thing to have a really great idea. It's something else entirely to see it come to fruition. So
Yes, exactly.
love that. Okay, next question. How do you know that you are showing up as your authentic self?
It's really a gut feeling at this point. And it's so funny too, because I'll say something like, oh my God, my mother just came out of my mouth. But that's not inauthentic. It's just, uh, but yeah, it is kind of that flow state too, where there's no artifice. It's, everything feels natural. It feels like, whoever I'm talking to, they're picking up what I'm putting down and the conversation is flowing and you can almost like see it in the airwaves. That's where you're not having to invent anything to talk about. It's just like you look up and 3 hours have gone by.
Yeah, that's such a great definition. I love it. All right. How do you channel your best self on your worst days?
Yes. To quote Dory, just keep swimming. Uh, sometimes it's okay, this isn't great. How can I just put one foot in front of the other can I salvage A, the situation, or B, this day, or both? Or sometimes it's today is heavy. I need to just pick up a small thing and get that one thing done. And then sometimes it's okay, it's time for a cup of tea and a book. And, I'll just tomorrow, the best way to get over today is for it to be tomorrow.
Yeah, right. Like this, we are all done with this day. We
Yeah.
are done with all the
Yes.
things today, this day. Okay. Last
Yeah.
question. This is going to be tough because you've said some brilliant things, but by nature, our brains only really hold on to one major thing in a 30-minute time span. So if you wanted to leave our listeners with one major thing, what would the major thing be?
I would love to say that implementing our core values in our company has been truly transformative. I mentioned that it's part of our hiring and a disciplinary and firing practice. But what I didn't say is that it's alive and well in our business every day, and even to a weekly extent. On Monday morning staff meetings, we have a values champion that is self-nominated by the team. I do not have anything to do with it unless someone nominates me, and then I have to nominate somebody else the next week. But they are moving that forward on a week-to-week basis, and that has been really beautiful to watch. And then also, as we're assessing not just team members, but clients too, like, this is not feeling right. What is it? Oh, it's because they're not doing strategy first. That's one of our core values. And it's just made like shared language, shared compass. It is, it's really, I believe, contributed a great deal of success through our rapid scaling in the last few years.
So, my friends who are listening, pay attention because ultimately, if you have clear core values and you live them every day, you're going to hit your target. Unfortunately, if you don't, you won't. So it's a choice, right? Like, and what I'm hearing you say is that when it's intentional, that really amazing things can happen. So, Lauren, thank you. I know you could have been doing a million other things, but you chose to spend time with our Productive Joy family, and we're really honored to have gotten to get to know you. So, thank you for being here today.
This was authentically fun, so thank you.
Yay, that's always my hope for sure. And so, for all of our listeners, y'all, there were plenty of nuggets of wisdom today. Lots of really great ideas. The one that I really want you to mull over right this minute is, could you name your core values outright right now for your family, for your business, for your daily personal work? And if you can't, go figure that out first. But then once you have, are you living them every day? And if you're not, what's getting in the way? So thank you for being here on Productive Joy. And thank you for being great listeners. If you're not following, yes, I really want you to. But I know I'm only harping on it because that's how you get to know all of the fabulous things that are coming up. So thank you for your time today. And go out there and figure out a way to turn fun into action.